everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it's that time of the week. It's time for us to do our 1 minute book recs, which will be on the normal day this time.
Yes, and we should not have any interruptions to our schedule again
for a
until
while.
September.
Yeah, we're trying real hard not to anyway. What's in September?
I'm glaring at you.
Me.
You and your camping trips. It's
okay,
ridiculous.
But all my other camping trips this summer, other than September and October, we're in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Because we film on the weekends.
Well, aren't you going to be surprised in September when I show up at the campground?
Okay.
I'm going to wear like a Yeti costume and jump out of the bushes.
I don't know that that's very wise when your bestie likes monster romance.
Yeah, then you're going to jump on me. I'll be like, get off, you freak.
Yeah. Okay, so this is taking a very odd turn. What would you like to tell the lovely people before we get started, Mandy?
Well, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you being here.
Yep.
In the comments, let us know what are some rec videos you would like to see us do next. We've been looking at our schedule a little bit, and we're a little bit planned out for the next few weeks, but after that, we have some dates that we're kind of up in the air on what videos we want to do. So let us know what you are hoping to see us do in the near future. Also hit that subscribe button because we love to give away free books on our channel. So make sure you're entered into those free books by just hitting that subscribe button, and you can follow us on Instagram for an extra entry.
Okay, so you were in Disney this last week.
I was.
Which affects your reading because nobody's just happily reading walking around Disney.
I did not really read at Disney, no.
So tell me about your reading week.
I got 7 books in because I did get home before the week was over, and I needed to get caught up on my reading because Goodreads is just peak beat.
Yeah.
I had some pretty good reads this week.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm flipping through because apparently I don't remember.
Well, you were in Disney. I mean, it's all good. I read 8 books while you're gone, but I'm only going to talk about 6. One of the books I read was over 700 pages, and it was worth it, but that took a lot of my time. So, so we're going to let you start first.
Okay. I know what you mean about the 700 books because Elizabeth O'Rourke told us about one of her favorite books, and I looked it up as like 900 pages.
900, and I was like, does it have audio?
I'm like, oh, I think I want to read this, but I'm going to need to save this for a particular time in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Long road trip by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your first book?
Oh, I'm going first.
Yes, you have one more than me to talk about.
Okay. Well, my first book is called It's All in How You Fall by Sarah Henning.
Okay.
And this is about Caroline. Caroline is a gymnast. Now, this is YA. It is very YA because I think she can't even drive yet and she's in high school. But I still really enjoyed this story. It would be what I would call like maybe a palate cleanser. So we have Caroline. She's a gymnast. She gets hurt performing a particular move and is told that she cannot compete anymore. And she was on her way to being like a really top athlete, like going to nationals, that sort of thing. So she's pretty devastated. And this kind of is changing like where she was at in life. And so her brother's best friend, Alex, offers to teach her some different sports to help her find something else that she might enjoy. So they go and play tennis together. They go and do like a bunch of different things so she can try and find a new sport to be involved in. And of course, during this time, feelings start to develop between the two of them. That gets like a little tricky with the brother's best friend type situation. I enjoyed this. So even though she's on the younger side, the dialogue and stuff doesn't feel childish between the two of them. So I rated it 4 stars.
Okay. All right. Well, my book is not on the younger side at all. No,
I don't think that you read YA.
No.
Unless like Calla Reed puts out, like when she did 16th Need, like you will only make exceptions for certain authors.
Yeah. Does that make me a snob?
You know what you like?
What?
Well, you know what you like. You don't like
Oh, I thought you were
YA.
gonna tell me. I thought you meant it as, you know what you like? Like,
No,
you can tell
no.
me. Yes, I do know what I like. Yeah.
There's nothing more frustrating than to read, like, after I've read a book and I go and review, like, rate it and stuff, and I go and glance at some other people's. Because especially if I'm like, whoa, I'm not on the same page as these people. Why didn't they like it? And then they complain about what the book was like, the whole basis of the book, like the trope or something. And I'm like, but if you don't really like dark romance, why did
Why
you
are you
read
reading
this
it?
when it says that? So there
Yeah.
is absolutely nothing wrong with you not reading YA. I mean, in a way, it'd be kind of rude to read an author's YA book and then be like, I don't
If you're
like
not
it.
into YA. Exactly. Yes, I agree. Yeah. So, okay. So, with that being said, my first book is by Kate Savage. It is, or no, sorry. Wow, I messed that up. My book is by Kate Raven. It's called Moonshine Savage. And it is a novella length. I think it's under 200 pages. This is about Saoirse and Jake. So she's a librarian and she's looking for a new job because there were some cuts at her job. And so she's having to drive out of town to a different town to go for an interview. And along the way, she finds out that the job was given to somebody else. So she turns around to come home and her car starts having some issues, starts having some car trouble. So she makes it to this little tiny hick town in the middle of nowhere. And that is where she meets Jake. He works at the garage there in town. And when she's there, some guys come and they try to get her attention. Total hick situation, like what you'd see, just totally the whole hillbilly guys trying to paw up on this girl, and that's not what's happening. Jake runs them off, and then when she leaves town, she gets attacked by these guys, and that's when Jake shows up and he takes her, and he decides he's just going to keep her now because there's no point in letting her go home, and he's going to force her to marry him. There is so much more to this book. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It had all the things that I loved about it. It was a total like hillbilly, but maybe a little bit of mafia involved in there, and captive, and oh man, it was good.
Right up your alley.
Right up my alley. So I loved it. I did.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Well, Jessica, guess what?
What?
I think I might really like historical romance.
Okay. I'll let you have that.
I have been shying away from it, but every time I do listen, I tend to listen to them.
Yeah.
I think I like listening to them and not reading them.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And it's because of that third person. When I listen to it in third person, it just feels like somebody's, well, literally reading me a story. But when I'm trying to read it, I sometimes struggle. But anyways, so I listened to The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, tell us all about it.
I will. So this is the first book in Girl Meets Duke series, which I am going to continue on with. And so we have the Duke of Ashbury, who was in the war, and he's returned home, and he is scarred, which leads his fiance to leave him. And he's kind of devastated by that and feels like, so he does your typical, like, shuts himself off kind of from the world. Well, Emma made his fiance's dress. She's a seamstress, and she's ticked because she's not getting paid for it, and she really needs the money. So she puts the dress on, the wedding dress, and shows up at his house and demands payment for it, which leads him to saying, hey, I need to have an heir. And so you are going to marry me and have my baby. But once you have my baby, once you get pregnant, we're like done. You and the baby are just going to go live off because nobody wants to be with this. And, and that's how it's going to go. And so I loved it. It was so good. It was great. And it's hilarious because he's he's really kind of retreated into himself. So he's that grumpy hero, you know, and she's like grumpy sunshine basically. And
Mm-hmm.
so she doesn't like his idea like of not being involved in the kid's life and stuff. And so she's trying to break through to him. So she calls him like sweet little nicknames like darling and muffin, and he does not like it. So then she calls him darling muffin. It's so funny. I loved it.
Okay. All right. So you're going to want to take notes from my next one. It's a football romance. And it is age gap. And it is forbidden.
I don't like any of those tropes.
No, never. No. So I read Blitz by Devony Perry. This is the second book in her Treasure State Wildcat series, but it can be read as a standalone. So this is about Jensen and Torin. So Torin every year has a 4th of July party. And his family comes, and it turns out to be quite the party every year. This year, people have showed up at this party that he doesn't even know where they came from. He's like, well, who are these people and who invited them? But towards the end of the night, he sees this girl that he cannot get his eyes off of. Like, there is just something about her that he is just drawn to. She's very tall. She's not 5'4", which was a breath of fresh air. Thank you, because at 5'7", I need taller. So she was tall. She was, perfect. They end up having a one-night stand that night. A few weeks later, they go to the school. So he is the assistant football coach at the college. He is doing something, and lo and behold, there is Jensen. She is the new volleyball player that was recruited in her senior year to play. So not only is he having, he's had a one-night stand with this girl who is way younger than him, and he is the coach and she's an athlete, they're neighbors, and he didn't realize that she'd moved in next door. And they've already had some scandal go on with the football coaches. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I loved listening to it. I can't wait for the next book in the series.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I already know that you're going to really want to read my next book when it comes out this coming week.
Okay.
Yours Truly by Daisy Jane.
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right. So this is about Ivy and Trace. This is book number 2 in Twisted Sisters. So Ivy is getting an apprenticeship at the tattoo shop, and Trace has been a famous reality TV star on his own show doing tattoos like all over, which has led him to lead quite the very typical, like kind of more like rock star lifestyle of drinking and, women every night and that sort of thing. And so he comes to the very quiet town of Bluebell and Ivy does not want to put up with his crap. And she has idolized him for years, watching his work and things like that. And she feels really strongly like the two of them could be really good together if he would just stop drinking and stop his womanizing ways. And a situation happens that leads her to take action to get him under control. And she does this by locking up his junk and keeping the key. I love this. I had no idea I would like the femdom stuff so much, and I really enjoyed it in this book. It was incredible. Like Daisy Jane just writes these like kink things that I wouldn't like when I just hear about it. I'm like, oh, like sometimes when I see her TikToks and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's just not for me. And then I'm like, but wait, I actually read that book and loved it. So she writes it in there in such a way that you don't even like, obviously, when she locks his junk up, like, what's happening, but it's just such a natural part of the story that I just love it.
I'm in the middle of a Daisy Jane book right now that I'm loving. So she can throw those kinks in there and just, you're like, okay, I'm here for it. And that's not even why you start reading the book. So, yeah.
So definitely it can be read as a standalone, but I would highly recommend reading All My Love, which is the first book, then read this, and then wait on Pens and Needles for the third book to come out this fall, which will be The Last Sister, because there have been some hints dropped about her, and I'm very curious about where her story is going to go.
Okay. All right. So my next book was a new audio release that came out. And that is Pretty Monster. This is the one you have on your bookshelf.
Yep.
By Sheridan. Okay. So this one is about Kaya. Apparently Kaya has a bedazzled hoo-ha because everybody wants it. Which that's not a negative thing in the book. It's just, I was like, wow. Okay. So she is a tattoo artist. And at work, she has another buddy that she kind of hooks up with from time to time. He is also a tattoo artist. He likes her. He wants her. She also has the president of an MC who wants her as well. And he's been wanting to make her his old lady for quite a while. He comes in and she does tattoos on him. And then she has this new neighbor that she's met who also wants her just because. So she is a very wanted woman at this point. Like I said, bedazzled with like diamonds, I think. But she also has a stalker. And we kind of question who he is. You don't know who he is. This is not reverse harem. It was actually good. I mean, that's really all I'm going to tell you guys about it, but it was 4 stars. I did enjoy it quite a bit. I was just like, wow, they all want her, huh? The stalker does some crazy over the top, insane things, but he's also a murderer. Like he's been a serial murderer. Like he's done those things. And he goes into this with the intention to hurt her. But obviously we know that's not the case. So. All right. What's next for you?
All right. When you said bedazzled hoo-ha, I thought you meant like it really was.
Oh, no.
Where's she going with this? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
It's like coochie made of gold. I don't know.
I never know with what the books you read, what's happening.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
All right. My next book is Pool Girl by Cassie Mint. This is a novella. And this is about Elsie and Tanner. So Elsie loves the water and she lives in an apartment complex that has a pool. And this is her like quiet time. So her routine every evening she goes and she gets her pool floaty and she just floats on the pool and relaxes. Well, the caretaker of the apartment building office is right by the pool, and sometimes she catches him watching her and she likes to watch him. She's like very attracted to him. But Tanner was in the military and has a limp and some scars. And so he feels like there's no way that Cassie, oh, sorry, not Cassie. Gosh, that's the author. Elsie is looking at him in any sort of way of interest, basically. And so this is a novella. So, of course, it's going to heat up very quickly and become very steamy between the two of them. But I don't think you would expect anything less from a Cassie Mint novella, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a normal smutty good time there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you had a novella. I have, my next one is my 707-page book. But you know how when you read a book like that, sometimes you can be like, oh, they could have left this part out or they could have shortened it. When I was reading this, yes, it was long, but I couldn't put it down. First of all, I was in love with it. But also there was nothing that I read in there that I felt like they could cut out. So, Okay, so let me tell you guys about it. This is Cheater by D.D. Prince. This is a new release. It just came out this past week. This is about Chloe. Chloe is, I'm going to try and do this justice. Chloe has been engaged for she's been with the same guy for 1.5 years. They are now engaged. 6 months before the book starts, her fiance is in an accident and now he's a paraplegic and he is in a wheelchair and he's trying to figure out life. She's still with him. She loves him very much. She does a lot for him. Well, he freaks out one night when she decides that she's going to use a vibrator on herself because obviously thinks he hasn't figured things out for himself yet. And he loses his mind. And the next day he like gives her this piece of paper and he's like, here, have a hall pass. I can't fulfill those needs because he won't do what the doctors are telling him. He won't even read the information about how to do that. So he gives her a hall pass and he tells her there's rules. Like it can't be somebody I know. No, like no more than one night, like no consecutive nights with the same person. You can't only do it once with him or just do it once with him. Not in our house. Like there's a list of things. She is like adamant. No, I do not want to do this. I love you. This feels like cheating. I can't do this. Well, we fast forward a little while later and she ends up using the hall pass. And it's very natural how it kind of came about. And that is where we meet Derek. And Derek becomes obsessed with her and he starts stalking her, and then he blackmails her into a relationship. And that's where I'm going to leave that. But I loved this book.
I forgot to set your timer.
I figured because it kept going. I was like, I know I'm over my minute. I give this book 5 stars. I loved it so much. It had so many of my favorite tropes in it. It was so good. I could not put it down. It's the start of a series, but I don't know. She's writing a second book, but she hasn't like titled the series yet. Loved it so much. Because, you know, here's the deal. He gave her the hall pass. She didn't want to use it. He practically forced her to use it. And then they have to reap the consequences of that.
Is it love triangle?
Nope. All right.
I kind of want to know what happens without reading the book, because it sounds like a book that could either be really good or I would really hate it.
We'll talk afterwards, and I'll try and do it as much as I can without giving you too many spoilers and to ruin anything.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Next.
Well, I read After the Shut Up Ring.
Yay! Okay, tell us about it.
Oh, so this is by Kate C. Wells. Jessica had this on her TBR for the month, and I was like, that sounds so good. I want to read it too. So we have our heroine, Angie, who is getting married. Like, that's how the book starts off. And her fiance, Tyler, is just such a jerk. Like, I just kind of pictured like the movies with the typical like party frat boys who like put down other people and think they're really funny and that sort of thing. And that's just kind of how I pictured him. And so he, I would say, goes beyond humiliating her in front of all of their family and friends during this wedding. And she has 2 little girls with him, and she realizes right then and there that this has to end. Like, she's just not going to do this. So she calls off the wedding in front of everyone. And Brandon, who is her best friend's brother, suddenly kind of starts to take an interest in what's happening and unfolding. And we kind of go from there. Angie has a lot of self-esteem issues. And I think it's understandable because you learn more about her background, and she really just wanted this family so badly that she kept turning a blind eye to so many things. And I don't think that makes her, like, it makes her relatable. Like, you do that in real life, especially if you're really, like, you're wanting something. Sometimes we turn blind eyes to things, and then, you know, we look back and we're like, oh, we missed a lot of red flags.
And she was young too, very young.
She was very young when she got pregnant, and yeah. And Tyler had potential. He just didn't, like, he had a job. It wasn't like he was a total, like TLC would say, scrub. And so I could see why she kept waiting for him to like turn this leaf, and he just doesn't. And then there's also some STD things that have happened as well that you learn more about in the book. But I really enjoyed it. It was a very different setup for a story. Yeah.
And you gave it?
Oh, I gave it 4 stars, or 4.5 stars.
Yeah. It was good. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay, so I read a Ruby Dixon book next. Are you surprised?
Shocked into silence.
I know. So audio came out this week for one of Ruby's books in her Rizdaverse series. It's When She's Fearless. This is the Rizdaverse number 10. This is a spinoff of Ice Planet Barbarians. This is about Chelsea and Hersek. Chelsea is, both of our hero and our heroine are plus size. The hero just has a little bit of belly fat. The heroine is described as curvy, very curvy. And so anyhow, she's on this planet because, you know, there's kind of like a refugee planet for women who've been abducted and then have been rescued from the abduction and whatever. She's running her farm, and one day she goes to go out fishing. And when she gets there is this guy. He's a Paraxian, so he's cat-like, and he is digging for something in the water. And she talks about how cute his tail is when it thrashes and all that other good stuff. And he's there working as like he just like a migrant worker almost, or like a construction worker that just goes from job to job to job, and he's only on the planet for a short while, and he's lost something in the river. So that is where they meet. That's their little meet cute. I gave it 4 stars. It's a novella. It's very short. It's very insta-lovey, but I like being back in that world. So next.
Okay, I also have another novella. I read A Serving of Forever by Jessica Kane.
Okay.
And this is about Quinn and Desmond. So Desmond gets sent on to this reality baking show. He gets sent there by his sisters, and he's not really excited about it. He's a firefighter, and this is just not something he's wanting to do, but his sisters put him up to it. One of the celebrity guests on the show is Quinn, who is a food critic, and she also does not really want to be there. She's very shy. And so they're on this reality show. This is Jessica Kane. It is a novella. So they like see each other and voila, there is a connection, which after the show leads Quinn into asking Desmond to teach her how to be more confident with men. So Desmond takes her back to his house to teach her. And that's the book.
Okay. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Another smutty good time.
Mm-hmm. Did you say what you rated that one?
I rated it a 3.
Yeah, it was just a smutty good time.
It just wasn't quite there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you ready for my last book?
Sure.
You've already read this one, obviously. So I read Whispers of Us by Karen Crompton. You don't have it already, do you? Oh, look at you. I need mine signed by Karen, so I'm gonna have to just place an order with Karen. Because, Okay, can I switch now though? Or are you just gonna hang out there?
I don't care. I could sit here and hold the book if you want. Sit there and hold the book
while I tell you about it. All right.
Okay.
So this is the 3rd book in Karen's Cold Neptune series. This is a Rockstar romance. Oh my God, Karen, I love this one so much. This is about Cassie and Quinn. So Cassie is the almost sister to the band's manager. She was engaged, and her fiance is the little brother to the band manager, but he died in Afghanistan. He was in the military, and so she's kind of been dealing with that for the last few years. And as far as the band knows, she is off limits because she is this guy, she's their manager's Nick's little sister or sister-in-law almost. So she is off limits, but that doesn't really stop Quinn. It kind of stops Quinn for a half a second, but he is the band's guitarist, and they they've met before, but they spent some time at a bar together that she works at, and things kind of snowball from there. This is a surprise pregnancy, but like you said, Maddie, it was done in a way that I've never seen surprise pregnancy done before. I absolutely loved that. I gave it 5 stars. There were some parts that I laughed my butt off, and Karen, I got the part that you put in for me. Thank you very much. The minute I saw that, I laughed my butt off. It's kind of true though. So, but it was awesome. I loved it. I loved it so much. I really think you need to read these in order. Like if you really want to, you could read them as standalones. I think you get way more enjoyment if you read them in order. But I guess if you had to, but I don't know that I would. But it's so good. They're so good. Mm-hmm. And there's so much more. And like you said, the twist, I can only see a twist coming a mile away. That one hit me upside the head. So
I have never seen the twists in her stories coming.
Mm-mm. No, she's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one has a little more like literal laugh out loud moments. Yes. I was reading this. I think I might have mentioned this when we did the video, or I told you about it. I know I told Karen, but I was reading this one out at my son's he was playing basketball, and there was a big break during the day, so I went to this coffee shop. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there by myself reading. And I was like literally smiling and laughing out loud. And I'm like, I look unhinged, but this is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. I have some things highlighted in there that were pretty friggin' funny. So
yes.
Yeah. So All right. So yeah, 5 stars. Go read it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a hidden gem. When we talk about hidden
Mhm.
gems on our channel, this series is a major hidden gem. You
Yeah.
will not be disappointed.
Yep. So, okay.
Okay.
You've got one more, right?
Yeah. This
Careful.
book won't fit with the rest of, I have to like reorganize my whole bookshelf.
Oh,
Not because of that book.
no.
It's because, well, we're going to Romance Invades the Rockies, and so I know I'm going to be bringing home books, and I've just ran out of space, so I need to like reorganize everything again. But I'm like, I don't want to do that until
Yeah.
I get back with those books.
Yeah. And then we spend a day playing with our new books.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So, okay. What you got next for your last one?
My last book is not a romance book.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to
Okay.
warn everybody.
Okay.
This is by a romance author, though.
Okay.
And it's her new release. It's The Unraveling by Vi Keeland.
Okay. Oh, wait, wrong solo. Hold on. Whew. Man, oh man.
Did you want to talk about the book?
I can try.
Go ahead, give it a go.
So she had a spool of yarn and she unraveled it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is about Meredith, and Meredith has experienced a very traumatic event in her life. And she is struggling. It's been almost 2 years, but she's just really struggling to find her happy place again. And she sees Gabriel, who also was involved in this traumatic incident, but they don't know each other. And she sees him one day and she sees him having a conversation, and he genuinely seems happy and he's smiling. And she wants to know, like, is he really happy or was this fake? So she starts following him. And then she is a psychiatrist, and she realizes what she's doing is not healthy, but she really just needs to answer these questions that she has. Well, she returns to her practice and she's trying to get some new patients. And Gabriel walks in her door as a new patient. And she takes this opportunity to try and get to know him a little bit better and figure out like what's going on. Well, I don't want to give anything away, but this, like, she has this book is, it's a thriller. It's got suspense to it, and oh my gosh, I loved it so much. So what I need our readers to do is I need someone else to read this book and message me, because I like feel like I need a support group and I really need to talk to somebody about the ending. The audio came out at the same time as the book, and we had just gotten back from vacation and I had stuff to do. So I'm like, I'm going to listen to this while I'm like doing house stuff. But I found myself going, what? And like having to stop and sit and listen. I listened to the ending 3 times.
That's crazy.
Yes. So
Yeah.
please, someone read this and message me. I need to talk to somebody. But if you are looking, like if you like Vi Keeland, you will like, her writing is phenomenal in this. Just know it's not a romance, but if you're looking for something a little different, read this. She says in like the very first blurb, this is not a romance. Like she cannot be more clear about that. But oh, it was so good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Please, someone go read it and message me. Please, I'm
someone put
begging.
Mandy out of her misery.
Yes.
But that's a wrap for this week. That's
all right.
All right.
Okay, so make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us. Also hit that notification button so you know when we do drop new videos, because we like to do that on Wednesdays. We've been working through our author interview series. You definitely want to see who we have coming next. Are we gonna?
Yeah, we can tell them.
We're gonna drop that. Go. Yeah. Drop it.
We just interviewed Liz Hamilton, who's the author of the Third Storm trilogy and other books as well. But that's what we've talked about a lot here is I've talked about it, the Third Storm trilogy. So we interviewed her, and that will be out on Wednesday.
Yes.
She's a lot of fun.
Make sure you come and check back for that as well.
Mhm.
Comment below. Let us know what, like we said at the beginning of the video, any books that you are books, any book recs that you would like to see us do for videos. Drop
Yeah.
that as well. And please go read the Unraveling and message me.
Okay. All right, guys. So now you have your jobs.
Oh, they also really should read Yours Truly by Daisy Jane and Whispers of Us by Karen Crompton.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
Cheater by D.D. Prince.
If we're giving out homework.
Oh, okay. I guess we're giving out homework that way. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video.